Is there advice you can give to people, to young kids that are living through a situation of any sort, a tough life?
Find a thing you like. Try to find a thing that you really enjoy. Try to find a thing that you're passionate about.
Like an activity.
Yes. For me, early on, it was drawing. It was illustrations. It was comic books. I wanted to be a comic book illustrator. And then it went from comic book drawing and illustrations to martial arts. So, but it was just another thing that I was very, very passionate about. And that was my vehicle out of my dilemma. That was my vehicle out of my own anxiety and trauma and my own issues and insecurities. And find something. Find a thing that you genuinely enjoy, because getting good at things you genuinely enjoy is extremely beneficial for young people, because it lets you know that, like, everybody thinks they're a loser. Every young person thinks they're a loser. At least a young person in the situation I was at. Like, I didn't know I wasn't a loser until I started winning, until I started doing martial arts. Martial arts taught me that, like, I could get better at stuff, that I wasn't really a loser. I just was someone who was like in a situation, but you could channel all that energy that you have as a young person into something and get better at it. And then all of a sudden people admired me. I was like, this is crazy. So I went from being someone who was incredibly insecure and basically a failure to someone who was really successful at this one thing that was very dangerous, that other people were scared of. And that gave me immense confidence and also a real understanding of the direct correlation between hard work and success.
And kind of understanding that you're not a loser.
Right.
That there is a diamond in the rough.
Yeah, and also an understanding that you can't listen to people. Because even my parents didn't want me to do martial arts. They didn't want me to fight. They didn't want me to do stand-up. There's like, you have to understand like who you are, and then in the face of other people's either criticism or, you know, lack of faith in your ability to succeed, you push through, and there's great benefit in that. And then you realize that you can kind of apply that to other things in life. You can apply that to critics. You can apply that to social media commentators. You can apply that to a lot of things.
Okay, what about young people in their 50s? Can you give advice to, like, imagine you're sitting back, probably still here in Texas, in your 90s, looking back. What advice would that guy give to you today? Or like people, people that have done some shit in their 50s, you've gone through a hell of a life. There's potentially some incentive to settle down. You got a great family to relax. But maybe there's some incentive to still do epic shit. Still be David Goggins running in the middle of the desert, screaming shit to a camera.
If you're David Goggins, you have to be David Goggins. I don't think there's a path for that guy that exists at this stage of his life other than that.
Do you think he'll be 70 and still screaming?
Yes.
Okay.
100%. 100%. If David and I are alive, we're both 70. He's gonna call me up and say, "Stay hard, motherfucker." Yeah. Guaranteed.
So lean into whatever the fuck you are at this point.
Well, if you're enjoying it, but if you're not enjoying it, rethink your life. Try to figure out why you're not enjoying it.
You still think it's possible to shift things in your 50s?
Yeah. If you're alive, you can get better.
No matter what.
Yeah, no matter what. If you're alive, you can shift things. I mean, if you're 90 years old and you have a month to live, you can apologize for the things you think you did wrong, and maybe sort of reconcile and shape relationships that you have with the people that are around you better, so that they feel differently about you after you're gone.
Yeah, I always love people in their 70s who are like getting back into dating or something like that.
Yeah. I was watching a video about a woman who's in her 60s who just started powerlifting.
Nice.
Yeah.
And same with jiu-jitsu. You see people get into jiu-jitsu.
Mm-hmm.
Like a white belt that's like 70.
Yeah. There's a lot of, if you're alive, you can get better at stuff. And I don't think people are happy if they don't have puzzles and complex tasks and things that are interesting to them, whether it's an art project or whether it's learning something completely new like stand-up comedy. Like doing things that are difficult it's as much of a nourishment of the mind as food is a nourishment of the body. I think you need things that are puzzling to you, where you have to find your own human potential in the difficulty of the task and work your way through things. At least for me. For me, I mean, I can only speak for me because I'm the only life that I've ever lived that I'm aware of. And in my life, that has been 100% constant. I am a very happy person, and I have never had a moment where I'm not doing difficult shit.
Yeah.
Ever.
What matters most is how well you walk through the fires. You just keep starting fires for yourself to walk through.
Well, they don't necessarily have to be fires, right? Because fires are like kind of out of control.
Lukewarm
tasks.
Surfaces.
Tasks. Give yourself something, an arduous, difficult task where you're challenged mentally and challenged physically. One of the great things about being challenged physically is it's also mental. The people that don't understand that have never really been challenged physically. People that think that physical challenges are just physical. It's just brute grunt work. It's not. It's emotional intelligence. It's understanding your desire to quit and conquering your inner bitch. All that stuff it's mental. It's playing out inside your head. And there's a mental strength that you acquire from that you can apply to intellectual pursuits. And the people that don't think that are the people that haven't attempted them. And there's an arrogance to people that only pursue intellectual exercises, only pursue intellectual things, and don't pursue anything physical. That the physical stuff is base, it's grunt work, it's primal, it's not necessary. I don't think that's accurate. I don't think that obviously there's people like Stephen Hawking who have no opportunity to do anything physical, right? His physical dilemma is keeping his heart beating. But for most people, I think you can really benefit from physical struggle, and you benefit from it in a mental way. And I think that is overlooked. That's unfortunately overlooked by academics and intellectuals who they make excuses for why they're fat and lazy or scrawny.
Well, they don't need to be. It's not even about the fat or all of that. It's like literally there's something about the physical challenge that's really good for you, especially if you're academic, especially if you do intellectual type stuff. There's this great roboticist at MIT, Russ Tedrick. He runs barefoot to and from MIT every day.
I love it.
Like 7 to 10 miles each way.
Barefoot.
Well, he studies legged locomotion, legged robots. Yeah. So for him, it's also interesting how the human body moves. He sees the beauty in all movement.
What do his feet look like?
Calloused,
destroyed, right?
No, just calloused. They're nice. They form nice? A nice. No, it's not like I gave him a foot massage, but I mean they look. And I don't have a foot fetish, so I don't. I'm not able to correctly evaluate another man's feet. I apologize for this, but they don't look fucked up.
Does he run on concrete?
Yeah, he runs all surfaces,
and he does everything completely barefoot.
The running part at work. So one of the things he has to do is fit into society, which means he has to change clothes and appear normal.
Right. So does he wear like zero shoes? Those
no, he's
barefoot
not
type shoes.
No, because that's like very hippie, wokey type of thing. No, like he doesn't. He's barefoot when he's running, and then he wears like normal looking stuff, like dress shoes.
How did he work his way up to running barefoot?
So he was significantly overweight. And his advisor, this other famous person at MIT who was a roboticist, took his own life, and that made him that made Russ face his own mortality. I think. I mean, you start to ask big questions about your well-being, like, holy shit, this ride can end at any moment. Yeah. And so he started taking his sort of physical well-being seriously. But as a result of that, not did he become like shredded, but he's also discovered the intellectual value, the humbling value of physical exercise.
Mm,
So he's not preachy about it at all. I actually rarely hear him advise it to anyone. He just does it as a almost like meditation or something like that. It's
definitely a form of meditation, and you can attest to that, right? You do quite a bit of running. There's a thing about you kind of almost like a mantra gets formed, and you get into it.
You know what's great here in the Austin heat, 100-degree weather. That tests you.
You know what I love to do outside?
What's that?
Pull sleds. That's my thing. I love to pull sleds outside.